viewers, our next talk is by Vidwan Shankar Sharma ji, and who will be speaking on the topic Pratyabhijñā and Anirvacaniya-khyati in Mansaollasa. Namaste Acharya, thank you for making time for the session. We are very grateful to you.
Namaste.
Before we proceed, just a brief introduction. Vidwan Shankar Sharma ji is a dedicated researcher pursuing his PhD at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and he is also a proficient Sanskrit scholar. He was initiated into the teachings of Bhagavad Gita at a very young age of 4 by his mother. He has earned the blessings of Jagadgurus of both Sringeri and Kanchi Matam in 2013 for memorizing the entire Bhagavad Gita. Having completed the Pravesha exam by Suras Saraswati Sabha of Sringeri, he holds a MA degree in Advaita Vedanta from Karnataka Samskrita University, and he was guided by his grandfather, Mahamahopadhyaya, Dr. Krishnamurti Shastrigal. He is currently engaged in writing Shastra Parikshas at Tenali. He began his Vedadhyayana under his paternal grandfather, Sri Ramalinga Sharma, and continues it under Sri Anandesha Sharma. Shankararama Sharma ji had also conducts Ramayana Navahams and Bhagavata Saptahams, and he has conducted these many times and regularly delivers discourses in Tamil, Kannada and English. And he currently serves as techno-linguistic scholar at Vyoma Linguistic Labs, wherein he uses the technology for Prachara and Seva of Samskrita. Thank you very much again, Acharya. Please go ahead and start your session.
Namo Namah. Yasyantanadimadhyam nahi karacharanam nama gotram na sutram no jatirniva varna na bhavati purusho na napumsam na chastri nakaram no vikaram nahi jani maranam nasti punyam na papam tatvanno tattvamekam sahaja samarasam sadgurum tam namami Vedantartha vibhasakajiyatage shantaya sannyasine nanavadi nagendra sanghapavaye yogindra vandyagya cha मोहध्वान्त दिवाकराय भगवत्पादाभिधां बिभ्रते तस्मै भाष्यकृते नमोऽस्तु सततं पूर्णाय बोधात्मने योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान् नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यं मातामहो मातरञ्च पितरञ्च पितामहो मातुलञ्च गुरून् सर्वान् वन्देऽहं ज्ञानसिद्धये नमः सर्वेभ्यः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः. From the morning, I think all of us have been experiencing the various works of Vartikakara Sri Sureshwaracharya and his great contributions to the Advaita Vedanta school of Adi Shankaracharya. The Dakshinamurti Stotram by Adi Shankaracharya is a unique stotram because it is both a stotram as well as a prakarana grantha. A prakarana grantha usually deals with the concepts of the philosophy, which in this case is Advaita Vedanta. The stotram would be more of where you can do the upasana of the Lord or pray to Bhagavan. This combines both, and hence it is very unique. I think another speaker has also spoken on Mansaollasa, which is the grantha by Sureshwaracharya. Mansaollasa is also in the Vartika style. As our previous speaker Vidwan Giridhar Sharma ji was explaining about Vartikas. So Vartikas are usually in the form of verses. And Sureshwaracharya takes this opportunity, takes this grantha of Dakshinamurti Stotram, and for each of the Stotram, he splits it, he calls it as an Ullasa. Each verse, he calls it as an Ullasa. Ullasa means there is so much happiness. It just fills the mind with bliss. the idea of Dakshinamurti Stotram itself being to give that Atma Jnana, Atma Sukha, and reading this Vartika is also going to generate that Sukha within us, that Parama Sukha, and hence the Grantha is named as Mansaollasa. That we have knowledgeable participants, there is no necessary for an introduction to Vedanta as such, nor to Sureshwaracharya, who we have all been seeing from the morning. We will directly delve into the Grantha. The topic of my short talk today being Pratyabhijñā and Anirvacaniya-khyati. So both these are dealt by Sureshwaracharya in the 7th verse of Dakshinamurti Stotra. The 7th verse is Balyadishvapi Jagradadishu tatha sarvasvavasthasvapi vyavrittasvanuvartamanamahamityanta sphurantam sada svatmanam prakatīkaroti bhajatam yo mudraya bhadraya tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye namagidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Balyadishvapi Jagradadishu tatha sarvasu avasthasvapi. In the previous couple of verses, through Mansaollasa, we see that Acharya has clearly stated the Siddhanta of Advaita by removing the Purva Pakshas, by speaking against the Purva Pakshas, Deham Pranam Api Indriyani and Rahu Grasta Divakarendu Sadashaha. Here he establishes the position of the Advaitin again in this particular verse, Balyadishvapi. We all, in our own experience, we see that we have gone through various stages of life, and every day there are 3 different stages which we call as avasthas, the avasthatraya, Jagrat, Swapna and Sushupti, which are quite well known. All of this is based on our experience. So it is not something Acharya or Sureshwaracharya is not talking something outside of our experiences. Whenever we listen to this Vedanta or even just read it, each of that has to be taken inside and seen how it deals with ourselves, because it is our own experience. So the topic of Pratyabhijna that we are going to deal with now is a matter of our own experience and nothing else. So Sureshwaracharya starts a discussion. Before the verse itself, he gives a couple of introductory shlokas saying, Pratyabhijna balad atma sthayi nirdharyate yadi kanama pratyabhijnisha kimva prayojanam. So like an upodghata to the shloka, like an introduction to the shloka, he gives this. This word Pratyabhijna is used a lot in many, or Pratyagatma, many such words are used. So the word Pratyabhijna itself means recognition, recognizing the Atman. So if you know the Atman because of this recognition, because of that Pratyabhijna bala, then what is this Pratyabhijna? How do you define this Pratyabhijna? And what is the use of that Pratyabhijna? So that is the open question that is posed. And also, we know the 6 pramanas that are well known in Advaita. And Mimamsa schools, we use these 6 pramanas. Whatever be the pramanas various schools use, none of them say there is another pramana called as Pratyabhijna. There is no extra means of knowledge called as Pratyabhijna. Then where does this Pratyabhijna, where are you going to include this new concept called Pratyabhijna? Is it in one of the 6 pramanas, or is it some extra pramana that you are giving? So what is it? So Acharya Sureshwaracharya says that this verse, Balyadishvapi, is an answer to these open questions of what Pratyabhijna is and where do we include it. And he begins the discussion. Bhatasya kasyachit purvam bhasamanasya sampratam Soyamityanusandhanam pratyabhijñānamuchyate. He gives the simple definition at the beginning itself. Bhatasya kasyachit purva. Whatever you have experienced before at some point of time. Bhasamanasya sampratam. And currently you are experiencing something. Soyam ityanusandhanam. The anusandhana that is this. That person who experienced that previous experience is same as this person who is experiencing now. That is called as Pratyabhijñā. So most of us who have read the basic texts of Vedanta, like Vedanta Sara and other things, we clearly see this where the Lakshana is going. Even in the Vakya of Tattvamasi, the same idea is explained when it is explained in the Shastric manner. You can say, when I was a young person, I was extremely healthy, I used to run around. And now I am old and I am not able to get up and walk. The experience when you were young, that is kasyachit purvam bhataha. So previously it was experienced in that way. And currently I am experiencing something else. But the person who is experiencing remains same. It is the same person who is experiencing the previous one or the current one. So that is that soyam ityanusandhanam. That is the same person. That anusandhanam is called as pratyabhijñā. Pratyabhijñānam uchyate. So to explain this is why Acharya in the shloka he said balyadishvapi jagradadishu tatha. So in Gita also we have the shloka dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara. In the boyhood or youth or old age, we have this constant experience of I. The experience of I does not change at all, not even a little bit. A grandfather might be sitting on a chair and playing with his grandson, and he picks out 80-year-old, 100-year-old, 80-year-old photo, and he shows it to his grandson when he was 5 years old. And he says, this is how I was at that time. He shows it and says, this is Tata. The grandson says, no, that is not Tata, that is Papa. But now everything has changed. But that experience for that grandfather remains same. He knows that that person in the photo which was taken 80 years ago is same as this person who is sitting now and playing with his grandson. Bhamatikara also says, Pranaptrin Anubhavami. So he is playing with his great-great-grandson. And the same experience continues. And that experience is called as Pratyabhijñā. Pratyabhijñānam uchyate. Same thing with the avastha prakriya also. When we deeply do this manana within ourselves of who is in the waking state, who experiences the waking state, who experiences the dream state, and who is the experience in the sushupti, all three are the same person. That's why jagradadishu tatha. That constant experience is called as pratyabhijñā. And this is what Sureshwaracharya explains in the next few verses, that whether it be various desha or kala, this person, he might have moved from one place to another. He has passed through multiple times. All this because of that maya. You think that this is a limited person. He has little knowledge. Alpajnaha. Whereas it is that single, that Advaita Atma, which is Purna by itself. And he gives a beautiful example here. Purva janmanu bhutartha smaranan mrigashabakaha janani stanyapanaya swayameva pravartate. This young deer that is there, which has just been born, or any young animal, immediately it knows that it has to drink its mother's milk. It is because of Purva Janma Anusandhana. That samskara is already there within that. Or else how will it know how to drink? Nobody taught. Even young human children itself, nobody teaches them how to drink the mother's milk. It just knows, instinctively it knows that it has to suckle. So that is the samskara that is there from the previous janma. And that this samskara is also called, when it comes out, it is called as smriti. Purvatra anubhave kale smriti kale paratra sanna atma samskara rupena smaratyartham swanishtitam. The experience that has happened previously is stored as samskara, and later at the time of remembrance, that recollection comes about. That whatever was there previously as an impression, it clearly exhibits itself, and that is called as smriti. Then now a doubt arises. Then Pratyabhijna is also like smriti only. And smriti has not been taken as pramana anywhere in any shastra. Nobody says smriti is a pramana. That you remember something, therefore it is pramana. That is the purva paksha that is being raised. Pratyabhijñēti bhavanam smritisched abhidhiyate. Atmasthairye pramanatvam smritischa prapnuyat katham. Is just remembering some objects, if that became Pratyabhijna. Remembrance of some object is Pratyabhijna. If you call that as Pratyabhijna, then how can remembrance, that smriti, how can it become pramana? We don't accept smriti as pramana, because smriti does not have that way of, you cannot do any prakasha. See, anybody can remember anything, or you can remember, read some fictional story and you can remember that also. That doesn't become pramana. And clearly, even today by science, we see that a person who sees something did not remember that accurately. You might have seen a silver car and you might remember it as a black car due to some various biases and cognitive biases. So smriti can never be pramana. So then how can you say that Pratyabhijna is pramana? Pratyabhijna is so similar to smriti only. Whatever you're saying is just smriti. You remember something at that time, the same thing exists now. That is smriti only. What else is that? Nothing different from that. And this smriti arises from samskara only. What? Avedya anubhave nashte tadiyam vishayam prati anubhavakam atmanam bodhayati anapayinam. So now, after this Purva Paksha has been raised, so there is a clear Purva Paksha saying, when the existence of an object is established, smriti is not inference also. Smriti is not pratyaksha also. And smriti cannot be any other also. You cannot say it is anubhava or anything, upamana or any such this thing also. Then how can you take that smriti to be a valid source of knowledge? You cannot. Smriti cannot be a valid source of knowledge. And therefore he gives the siddhanta that, see, what I am talking is not about smriti, but the person who has that smriti, that is that pratyabhijna. It is not about your smriti itself. You might remember something. See, the elderly person might remember some play he acted in when he was young, and that is the photo that he is seeing there. He might remember some things properly about the play. He might have forgotten some things, or some things would have changed over time in the memory. But the person who was there is the same that is now. The person who is experiencing that anubhava long time ago, and the person who is having the anubhava currently, that person is the same. And that identification or that experience of that person, that is called as Pratyabhijna. And the smriti is something that once the Vishaya goes off, whatever remains is called smriti. Previously, you had an experience, you saw something, and that moved away, or you moved away from that place. Whatever you remember of that is called as smriti. But the person who remembers, that experiencer of that person, that constant experiencer is called as Pratyabhijna. And that Pratyabhijna, Vishayecha pramushite, Nashtecha anubhave sati, Svavishrantam smaratyartham, Devo apramushitaha sada. So when that object disappears from this person, and that experience also, when object disappears, the experience also disappears. But that Lord, he says, that Bhagavan, that Prabhu who is there, that means that Atman who is there, that never disappears. That remembers the object because of samskara. That samskara is there. That impression has been created. And then he goes on to say how because of Maya covers everything, and Vidya helps us remove that Maya. Maya is that ignorance, the veil that is there. And by Vidya, we just remove that veil. Like veil covers the sun, or clouds cover the sun. And then by Vidya, it is just removed. So if we say it is a veil, and this is how it is removed and come, then Pratyabhijna is just Pratyaksha itself. Pratyabhijna is Sakshad Anubhava. And that's why in Grantha it is called as Aparoksha Anubhava. This Pratyabhijna is Aparoksha Anubhava. It is a subject itself. Yavanti santi manani vyavahara pravrittaye tesham mohapasaranat vyaparonyo navidyate. For all pramanas, there is a singular objective, that it has to remove moha. Yathartha jnanam is the idea for all pramanas. That's what pramana itself means. You have to get yathartha jnana somehow. So this Pratyabhijna gives that. And hence, this, then where did this error come from? Where did the assumption that I am Deha, I am Jada, all this come from? I was Bala, I was Vruddha. Where does all this come from? That comes from error. That comes from ignorance of this Maya. And here he brings in the theories of error. He brings in the Purva Paksha of various Khyatis, and then establishes the Anirvacaniya-khyati of Advaita Vedanta. The various Khyatis, he begins with Satkyativada of Vishishtadvaita. Sadeva Rupyam Chedbhati Vilayaste Nasidhyati. If an error, and for all errors are, usually we have many examples. Here the example taken is that of the nacre in the shell, Shukti Rajatam. That is the example that is taken here. It is widely used. If reality itself was seen like that, because what does Satkyati say? That everything is created of Panchabhutas. The silver is also of Panchabhutas. The shell is also of Panchabhutas. So silver appears in the shell, and both are Sat only. That is Satkyativada, in very simple words. So if Sat itself was being seen like that, then it would never go away. Then the silver should not go away at all. You should never be able to get the cognition as it is only a shell. That is not possible for that Sat to go away. If it was completely Asat, that neither the shell also does not exist, the silver also does not exist, then it would become like Narashringa or Shashashringa. You have something that is completely Kalpita. It has no existence at all. That is Asatkhyativada, which is there with some a part of Bauddha Mata takes Asatkhyativada. The Anyatha-khyātivada is taken up by Tarkikas and Vaisheshikas. They say, Tenedam tulyamityevam syat sadrishyad yadi brahmaha Pitashanko gudastiktaha ityado nasti tulyata. Anyatha-khyati says that this shell that you see in front is similar to silver, and therefore you get an idea that it is silver, the shell that you are seeing in front. But if you say it is similar, then, okay, in this case it is acceptable that nacre is similar to silver. But let us say a person has jaundice, and therefore he is not able, he sees everything as yellow, and he will see a conch also as yellow, but a conch is actually white. Conch is not similar to yellowness at all. So similarity cannot be the case. Conch is not at all yellow, but he sees it as yellow. And a person who has fever, even if you give him jaggery, it will taste bitter for him. So Pita Shankaha Gudastiktaha, these kind of anubhavas are not due to similarity. They are due to some other problems. Such an anubhava will not happen always. So that Anyatha-khyati is also not possible. Then Atma-khyati is, few other Buddhists say this, that it all exists in the mind and then it is seen outside. So, Buddhistite ched rajatam. Both the Rajata and Shukti are in the mind, and then they are seen outside. Then the problem is, when you see a red berry and you think it is fire, then you yourself should start burning, because fire is there inside you. You are creating the fire there. Then you should also burn together. That becomes a problem in Atma-khyati. So the body will also become scalded because of the fire. Therefore, doing Purva Paksha of all these Khyatis, he establishes saying it is Anirvacaniya-khyati. This error cannot be described as it is like this or it is like that. Why? Yuktihina prakashatvat bhrante nahyasti lakshanam. There is no lakshana for bhranti. You cannot define bhranti like this. If you start defining error itself that this is how error is, then it is not error at all. Then that is also some kind of proper knowledge. There is no way to define error. Because when you see the Rajata there, when you see a silver, you have no cognition to say it is not silver. Then somebody has to move you so that the light does not reflect, or they bring the shell closer to you. Then you know it is shell. But at the point when you were thinking it is silver, it was silver only. Nobody could have proven to you it is not silver. Later, when it was moved away, some other light was shown, then you got to know it was a shell. So you can neither say silver is there, nor can you say silver is not there. That is what is Anirvacaniya-khyati. And this is the same example. In 2 shlokas, he gives various examples. Whether it is one moon in multiple moons you see in the water, or you see Rajju Sarpa. On the rope, you see a very poisonous snake, or you see various ornaments in gold, or you see this great magician creating Indrapuri in just empty sky, or you see a thief on the pillar. Whatever example you take, it is all because of this Anirvacaniya-khyati. What is there is this Swayam Prakasha Atma only. The experience of that Pratyabhijna is what you have to catch hold of. Swayam Prakasham Sadrupam Bhranti Badha Vivarjitam Pratyabhijñāyate Vastu Pragva Mohe Vyapohite. The moha is dispelled and that Satya Jnana Vastu is seen inside. Swatmanam Prakatīkaroti Bhajatam Yo Mudraya Bhadraya. That Swatma is given by that Sri Dakshinamurti, who is Guru, who is Ishvara, and who is Atma. Swatmanam Prakatīkaroti. With his Chin Mudra, he gives us that knowledge. He transfers that knowledge of Atma Jnana. May Dakshinamurti grant us that Atma Jnana and Paramananda Sukha. Namo Namah Sarvebhyaha Gurubhyo Namah.
Thank you very much, Shankar Ramaji.
Thank you.
It was a very, very wonderful session, very interesting session. I'm receiving a lot of comments saying that the topic is such that it could have been a 2-session thing. One on Pratyabhijna, one on the Khyati. Wonderful. Thank you very much for taking time for this symposium. Thank you very much.
Namo Namah. Dhanyavada.